Let's move on to Ryan Garcia, 21-0, 18 KOs, very confident, borderline cocky in some people's eyes. Damian, what's next for him?
What should be next would be Gervonta Davis, of course. That's the fight that everybody wants. But Gervonta Davis got his own issues going on right now. And hopefully he comes out unscathed from those issues in a way that he can continue his career and, not be put on pause for a long time for what's going on with him. So if you take Gervonta Davis out the mix, you got to look at someone like maybe a Jorge Linares. I think a veteran like that would be a very tough fight for Ryan Garcia. Someone in Jorge Linares who has power in both hands, who we saw put down Vasil Lomachenko in their fight. So if you got somebody who can challenge Lomachenko and Linares, has all his experience being a champion, if Ryan Garcia can beat him, that's when you can see Ryan Garcia take that next step to a Lomachenko or a Lopez or a Davis if Davis is able to fight. So I think Jorge Linares would be the best opponent for Garcia to face next.
What do you think, Vince? Who do you see Garcia fighting next realistically?
I agree with everything that Damian said. I would also, if Tank is not his next fight due to, his circumstances and what he has going on, I would want to see him, possibly fight Devin Haney, because that would be it would start to clear out that division. Because right now there's a log jam between Tank, Teofimo, Devin Haney. Some people still have Lomo in there. So once they start to have that pecking order, I think it'll start to fall out. But, to answer the question once again, I believe if not Tank, it should be Devin Haney that Ryan Garcia fights.
And the thing that's interesting about Ryan Garcia, man, him and a lot of these other guys, you're right about that. All of these top young fighters, and when they're going to fight each other, I think that puts a lot of pressure on Ryan Garcia to make a fight happen. You saw him talking crap on Mike Tyson's show, Gervonta Davis talking crap. The way I look at it is this. Some of these big fights have to happen. And Linares, I think that is most likely the next fight, but I think the public – Damian, and you both guys are right on this, is the public wants the big fights. So before we move on to the next question, do you guys think this Ryan Garcia's next fight, it has to be a big fight? It can't be a guy we have never heard of or a guy who maybe the public isn't accepting as one of the top fighters. Is that how you view it?
Yeah, I definitely think that it has to be someone who is of note, right? It can't be someone who we as boxing heads don't know, right? Yeah. If it's somebody who we don't know, it's like, okay, why even go through the process of these steps, right? You took this big step in taking on Luke Campbell. We saw this test. You got knocked down by Luke Campbell. So now we can't see you go backwards, because now it's going to look like to us that you're scared of that next step, right? We see you get knocked down by Luke Campbell. If you go down and take somebody out who we haven't heard of, it's not going to be impressive, because we're going to be like, okay, you took a step back to try to make yourself look good again, instead of taking that step forward and taking on the true test that's coming forward, like a Jorge Linares or a Devin Haney, like Vince mentioned. So if you take a step back and take somebody on who we haven't mentioned and we don't know, and you knock them out, it's like, all right, cool. We know you got knockout power, Garcia, but what's next? What is that next step for you?
Vince, when you look at Ryan Garcia, does this next fight, it has to be a big fight? Is that how you view it?
It has to be a big name. It can't be the dude from the gas station, like, Timothy Bradley would say. It has to be, either a Teofimo or a Devin Haney or someone of that caliber, because if not, you're just padding your stats and your resume at that point. And for us, then we start to, as boxing fans and, as Damien said, boxing heads, we start to discredit you and look at your resume, and it becomes devalued.